All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let me welcome you back to the Orange County Board of County Commission meeting of August the 22nd, 2023. We're in the afternoon portion. We've had quite the day so far, and because of several issues, we are running late today. But we're going to begin with our planning and zoning adjustment recommendations, Board of Zoning adjustment recommendations. And Mr. Ted Kozak is going to frame these items. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. On August the 3rd, the Board of Zoning Adjustment heard 19 cases. 14 of those cases were recommended for approval. One case, VA 2305-019, Thomas, was recommended for denial. One case, ZM 2307-047, North Star, the zoning manager decision was upheld. And two cases, VA 2308-061, Quaterio, and SC 2306-045, Wind River, were continued. Also, finally, one case, VA 2308-059, Roy, was withdrawn. The BZA appeal deadline was Friday, August the 18th, and one case was appealed, ZM 2307-047, North Star. The zoning division will be requesting that appeal case to be scheduled for a future public hearing. It is also my understanding that Commissioner Bonilla would like to request VA 2308-052, Azam, for a future public hearing, with the exception of the BZA case that was appealed and the BZA case that was requested for a future public hearing. We request that the BCC accept the BZA recommended action and findings.
Okay, if there are no other items to be pulled by any commissioners, do we have a motion?
So
for
moved,
approval?
Uribe.
Second, Gomez.
Motion by Commissioner Uribe, second by Commissioner Gomez-Cordero. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, and it is unanimous. With that, we'll move forward to the next item on our agenda. This is public hearings for this afternoon. We'll start with A1. We'll open the public hearing on this item, and we'll ask Ms. Ann Dawkins, the MSTU supervisor, to frame this item. And with that, Ms. Dawkins, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, Mayor Demings, County Commissioners. A1. This request is from the Environmental Protection Division to amend the Lake Pickett Municipal Service Taxing Unit Resolution for general lake cleaning, maintenance, and aquatic plant control to allow additional authorized use of funds of the Municipal Service Taxing Unit to include navigational improvements. This amendment does not change the current Avalon assessment. The Lake Pickett MSTU is located in District 5. If approved today, this resolution will be effective immediately.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dawkins. This is an administrative item, so I will go to public comment. Do we have any members of the public present who should be heard on this item, Mr. Conkle?
There are no speakers for this item, Mayor.
And then we'll close the public hearing on this item. And Commissioner Bonilla is absent today, but do we have a motion for approval?
So move, Scott.
Second, Wilson.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, and it is unanimous. All right, we'll move forward then to the next item. Thank you, Ms. Dawkins. We'll move to our petitions to vacate, and the first one is item B2. And we'll open the public hearing on this item, and Mr. Brett Blackadar, the Deputy Director of Public Works, will frame this item. And Mr. Blackadar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a petition to vacate PTB 2105-025 from Nixon Granadillo on behalf of Nathan Ross. The petitioner requests that Orange County vacate a portion of a 50-foot wide unopened and unimproved right-of-way known as Avenue D, containing a total of approximately 0.16 acres. The property lies along Cypress Street, south of East Land Street Road and east of Sidney Hayes Road in the Taft neighborhood in District 3. The petitioner wishes to vacate in order to add land to the adjacent properties. The Real Estate Management, Environmental Protection, Engineering, Transportation Planning, and Roads and Drainage Divisions have no objections to this request. All utility providers have also provided letters of no objection. However, Duke Energy, which has facilities in the area, requested an easement over a portion of the right-of-way requested for vacation. An easement has already been executed, and a copy is on file. Approval of this request will not have any adverse impacts on Orange County. Our requested action is approval of petition to vacate PTB 2105-025. and I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Is the applicant on this item present? If so, would you like to come forward and make any comments? I see no one moving forward. So with that, do we have any members of the public present who wish to be heard on this item?
No speakers for this item, Mayor.
All right, then we'll close the public hearing at this time. We'll go to the district commissioner. Commissioner Uribe, would you like to offer a motion?
Yes, motion for approval.
Second Gomez?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, and it is unanimous. The next item on our agenda is item number C3. We'll open a public hearing on this item, and Mr. Tim Hull, our Environmental Programs Administrator, is going to come forward to frame this item. And Mr. Hull, you're recognized.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I'll be presenting shoreline alteration dredge and fill permit application number SADF 2305013 for applicant Joseph Brickelmeyer for a new seawall. Here's a location map of the property. It's located at 17032 Johns Lake Drive on the northern shoreline of Johns Lake. Here's an aerial photo of the property. It is outlined in yellow. And here are some photos of existing conditions. As you can see, particularly that photo on the right side, they've had significant erosion that occurred from last year's storms and even lost some of their area that was previously the backyard. Here is the site plan. The applicant's proposing to construct a new seawall, which is depicted in red for you here. It's approximately 108 feet in length along the shoreline of their property. It'll be constructed of modular concrete blocks and will include a return at each end, which will tie the wall into the existing grade of the backyard. And the property to the west does have a seawall. Based on prior board direction, riprap and plantings are usually required for these new walls, and so the applicant will install the riprap and plantings waterward of the wall. Here's a cross-section plan as well as a photo of a typical view of what these kinds of stacked concrete walls look like. The considerations for this project, it was reviewed in accordance with Chapter 15, Article 6, and the review criteria and conditions of issuance therein. EPD sent notification of this public hearing to property owners within 500 feet, and no objections were received. Our finding is pursuant to Orange County Code, Chapter 15, Article 6. EPD has evaluated the proposed SADF permit application and the required documents and has made a finding that the request is consistent with Section 15218. And our action requested is acceptance of the findings and recommendation of the Environmental Protection Division staff and approval of shoreline alteration dredge and fill permit SADF 2305013 for Joseph Brickelmeyer, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report. This is in District 1. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hull. Is the applicant on this item present? If so, would you like to come forward and offer any comments? Okay, he's waiting on making any comments. So are there members of the public present who wish to be heard on this item?
No speakers for this item, Mayor.
All right, then we'll close the public hearing portion. We'll go to the district commissioner. Commissioner Wilson, would you like to offer a motion?
Yes, I'll move the requested action. Second Gomez?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Hull. We'll move to the next item, which is D4. We'll open a public hearing on this item. And we're going to ask the Director of Public Works, Mr. Joe Conkle, to frame this item. And with that, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Public hearing D4 is the Thompson Heights preliminary subdivision plan. The subject property is located north of Votaw Road and east of Thompson Road. The request is to subdivide 11.65 acres to construct 26 single-family residential dwelling units. The property is designated low-density residential on the future land use map and is zoned R1A, single-family dwelling district. Here's the zoning. The aerial shows the surrounding area is developed with single-family subdivisions north and east. Here is the preliminary subdivision plan showing access off of Thompson Road. A revised condition is being proposed. Update language is proposed to be added to the condition of approval 14 regarding utility service connection, as shown on this slide. And 14 reads, so long as the development lies within the City of Apopka's territorial area under the City of Apopka, Orange County amended and restated water, wastewater, and reclaimed water territorial agreement, The development shall connect to central water and wastewater services from the city of Apopka. Otherwise, the development shall connect to Orange County's central water and wastewater service. Our recommended action is to make a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan and approve the Thompson Heights preliminary subdivision plan subject to the conditions listed under the DRC recommendation in the staff report with the amended condition 14 as presented. The mayor and commissioners have been briefed on this request. This case is in District 2, and staff is available for questions. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Conkle. Is the applicant on this item present? He's waving on coming forward. So with that, are there members of the public present who wish to be heard on this item?
There's no speakers for this item, Mayor.
Then we'll close the public hearing. We'll go to the district commissioner. Commissioner Moore, would you like to offer a motion?
Yes, I find it interesting nobody's here today, that the neighborhood that would, they're in the middle of their septic to sewer vote, so maybe they're a little distracted, I don't know. But I did have some subsequent conversations with Public Works with some traffic issues that I think we're going to resolve another way. Sometimes my folks don't say much, so I step in there for them. And so nevertheless, I'd like to make a motion for approval.
All right, we have a motion and a second. The seconder is Commissioner Scott. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. We'll move to the next item on our agenda, E5. We'll open the public hearing on this item, and Mr. Conkle will go to you once again to frame this item.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Public hearing E5 is the Buena Vista Commons Plan Development. The subject property is located west of Apopka Vineland Road, south of Darrell Carter Parkway, and north of Lake Street. The request is to add a private school as a permitted use for one of the existing commercial buildings on the site. The property is designated office and activity center mixed use on the future land use map and is zoned PD as the Buena Vista Commons planned development. The aerial here shows the surrounding area with the development of mixed single-family residential, commercial, and a mobile home park to the west. Here is the land use plan with the subject building bubbled for identification. Note, there is an error in condition 14B in the staff report. The condition needs to be amended to reflect the additional permitted use for building 4. 14B will now read, with the exception of buildings 1 and 2, development shall be limited to professional office, PO, uses for the following 4 uses: church, restaurant, no drive-through, community center, fitness center, martial arts, and miscellaneous aerobic type instruction. Building 4 uses shall include private schools, kindergarten, elementary, middle, junior high, and high school. The recommended action is make a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan and approve the Buena Vista Commons plan development subject to the conditions listed under the DRC recommendation in the staff report with revised condition 14B as presented. Mayor and commissioners have been briefed on this request. This case is in District 1, and staff is available for questions. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Conkle. If the applicant is present or a representative, now will be the time to speak. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. I do have a brief PowerPoint presentation. My name is Joe Kovashesh from Lowndes Law Firm, 215 North Eola Drive. I'm not going to cover everything in detail, but I do want to hit some highlights. So, again, just to clarify, the application is to add private school as a use to an existing building, Building 4, in the Buena Vista Commons PD. The school itself is operated by the Crenshaw School, which has a history of about 20 years of operation. It is a private college preparatory school that most recently operated in Gotha. There were no issues or complaints there. It's moving to a new location, a newer building, a better facility. So school operation and student body hours, it's 3 levels: high school, elementary, and middle school. High school, 7:45 to 2:45, except on Wednesdays when it lets out an hour earlier. Elementary and middle is staggered, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. except on Wednesdays when it releases an hour earlier. We are expecting somewhere between 100 and 150 students. At 150, it would be about 50 high school and 100 divided between elementary and middle. All student activity will be contained indoors inside the building. There will be no outdoor recreation or gym time. There is an indoor gymnasium. So a lot of information there about the property, but most important, the future land use designation for the entire PD is divided between office and ACMU, but Building 4, only office as a future land use. The zoning is that 3-lot commercial PD. You heard the approved uses are those uses allowed under the PO designation plus church, restaurant, fitness center, and community center. We're only asking to add private school to Building 4. And the existing use, it is an existing commercial PD. There's currently a child daycare facility there, in addition to some other offices. So context of the property, it is off. It's obviously in District 1. Again, office and ACMU future land use, zoning. Here's the actual site. The photograph on the left, the commercial PD parcels are split. There's a northern parcel highlighted in green, a southern parcel outlined in blue. Building 4 on the left-hand picture is indicated in red. The right-hand picture zooms in with, again, Building 4 in the middle where the school will go. The other buildings in that southern parcel or southern portion of the PD are outlined in white with in red. So these are site plan documents. I do want to point out that our land use plan accounts for stacking, so when students are dropped off, when students are picked up, we have planned and allocated for stacking, assuming 155 vehicles and about 3,000 feet of stacking. Our operational analysis report finds that at most there'll be about 283 to 348 feet of stacking. So, we've accounted for 3,000. It will actually be about 300 feet. Stacking will not be an issue. One of the items on the staff report to support to discuss would be whether the change or added new use will increase trips. Our operational analysis found that total daily trips will decrease. Peak AM and peak PM trips will stay about the same. There's a slight decrease, but they'll stay about the same when compared to current approved uses. I've included the entire land use plan in the slideshow in case any of the commissioners have any questions. Here is a diagram of Building 4 as the applicant hopes to build out. On the left-hand side, far left-hand side is the gymnasium. In the middle is a cafeteria. One question that came up at the community meeting had to do with on-site food, how the applicant would handle food delivery on site. There is no kitchen, there's no food preparation on site. Food will be brought in, eaten by the students every day, so there's no food kitchen on the site. Staff review, we held a community meeting July 19 with approximately 18 residents who generally expressed support for the school. DRC met on July 26, unanimously recommended approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. The staff report finds the request would not adversely impact any adjacent properties or result in an incompatible land use pattern, and that the proposed CDR is consistent with the designation and all applicable CP provisions. Therefore, a CP amendment is not necessary. So the requested application is consistent with the county's comprehensive plan. It is consistent with the adjacent land uses. The applicant therefore requests that that you all accept the staff recommendation and make a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan and approve the substantial change. That ends my initial presentation. I am happy to answer any questions of the commissioners or mayor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kovacs, if you will stand by for a few moments. And do we have any members of the public present who wish to be heard on this item?
I have no speakers for this item, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Kovacs, are you an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Wilson. All right. With that, then we're going to close the public hearing at this time, and we'll go to the district commissioner. Commissioner Wilson, would you like to offer a motion?
Absolutely. I'll move for approval, subject to the conditions listed under the DRC recommendation, the staff report with a revised condition number 14B.
Second, Uribe.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. With that, we'll move forward to the next item on our agenda. Mr. Kovacs, thank you for your presence this afternoon. We're going to move to item F6, and we'll open the public hearing on this item, and we'll ask the Director of Public Works, Mr. Joe Conkle, once again to frame this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Public hearing F6 is an amendment to the Tyson Ranch Plan Development Land Use Plan. The subject property is located west of Boggy Creek Road, south of State Road 417, and north of Simpson Road, just north of the Osceola County line. The request is to rezone 8.49 acres from A2 Farmland Rural District to be added to the existing PD and assign the new parcel a development program of 325 multifamily units. There are also 2 waivers from code requested for increased building height and reduced major street setbacks. The property is designated on the future land use map as planned development and is zoned A2. As stated, the request is to rezone the A2 parcel to be added to the existing Tyson Ranch Plan Development, which has a development program consisting of a mix of commercial and residential entitlements. The aerial shows the surrounding area, which is in the process of development. The current Tyson Ranch, if you can go back, please. The current Tyson Ranch is in the dark black outline, and you can see it on the map. And then here is the PD land use plan. The recommended action is to make a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan and approve Tyson Ranch PD, subject to the conditions listed under the PZZ recommendation in the staff report. The mayor and commissioners have been briefed on this request. This case is in District 4, and staff is available for questions. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Conkle. Is the applicant on this item present? If so, would you like to come forward? He's coming forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Daly with Daly Design Group, 913 North Pennsylvania Avenue, here on behalf of Bob Harrell and his partner. Bob's here. He's the owner. We concur with the staff report. We seek your support and are here to answer any questions.
All right, stand by for a moment. Do we have members of the public present who wish to be heard on this item?
There's no speakers for this item, Mayor.
All right. Then we'll close the public hearing at this time, and we'll go to the district commissioner. Commissioner Gomez-Cordero, would you like to offer a motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion for approval, requested action.
Second, Uribe.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, and it is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Harrell and Mr. Daly, for your presence. I believe that after a long, robust schedule today, we got through it, commissioners. And if there's no other business before the Board of County Commission at this time, we stand adjourned.